Well, the holiday season is a time of joy and giving, but it can also bring financial stress if we're not careful. Some may already feel it after Black Friday shopping. It's not just the shopping, add in festive outings and travel expenses. It's easy to lose track of spending. Joining us this morning is financial advisor Rick Thurman. Rick, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
This is such an important conversation right now. Let's jump right into it. What are some of the most common mistakes that people make when it comes to spending and shopping for the holidays?
Well, usually you can boil it down to three things. Number one, not having a budget. Secondly, not tracking your spending. And thirdly, impulse buying.
And talk a little bit about also what's the best way to set a holiday budget?
Well, just like you may set an overall budget, is you want to set a holiday budget by looking at how did you spend the previous year.
Right.
Look at your credit card and your bank statements and come up with a list of your potential spending for the current year and then stick to that list.
Talk about some strategies that people can take when shopping.
Well, the biggest thing is to avoid impulse buying. And when you're out there in the mall, you can walk by the Miss Fields cookies place and you can smell the cookie smell that's out there and you go, oh my gosh, I've got to have a cookie. But that's something that steers you away from your pre-planned spending when you go out there. But it's to have a budget when you go out there and stick to the plan that you've created for yourself.
I was talking to you during the break and I told you how I walked in Old Navy thinking I just need one thing. That didn't happen. Should I have avoided the store completely?
Well, no, if it's on your plan for spending, then just go ahead and do that. And the key is to start early, create a plan, and then you avoid that last minute purchase, that unexpected purchase that you do, because you've listed the things that you want to buy for the essential items for your family and for events that you're planning for the current season.
Talk about credit cards now, especially for those that are already in debt.
Okay, so credit cards in and of themselves are just simply a medium of exchange. They're fine. The key is that you want to track your spending on the credit cards based on a predetermined budget. And you've got to track and compare what you've spent on those credit cards to the budget you've established. But credit cards in and of themselves, they're fine.
They're fine.
Yeah.
But what happens right after the holidays?
Well, then you may end up with a big balance on your credit card. You may feel bad about the spending that you've done. And you may be looking at, what is my credit score as an example? And credit scores are impacted by two things primarily. The amount of spending that you've done on a credit card relative to its limit that they've given you. That's called capacity utilization. And the second thing is, how do you pay off those credit cards? So those are the two biggest things that impact your credit score. And the third thing, on a lesser extent, would be how many credit cards do you open or do you apply for? So those are the things that you think through. And if you're trying to improve your credit score, then just pay down your credit card. Start with the credit card that's got the highest interest rate first, and then go to the next one and the next one after that. But try to eliminate that credit card spending and think about, should I just go to a cash-only budget or a cash-only spending plan as opposed to using that credit card, because you want to bring that credit card debt down.
What is your advice when you go to every store? And at every store, as you're making your purchase, they say, would you like to apply for our credit card? Would you like to apply for our credit card? And even one woman, I won't say the store, but she said, yeah, I'll admit the interest rate is really high.
Well, it's willpower. You've got to resist that temptation to take out another credit card. And if you look at the annual percentage rate on those credit cards, you'd be blown away at some people are paying 25 and 30% interest rates on these credit cards. So you don't want to do that. You want to stay away from that. You only need one or two credit cards at most.
Right. And usually when I say no, I'll just get in trouble. I get myself in trouble. Now, what is your most important advice for people this holiday season?
Well, as we have said several times, create that budget. Right. And creating a budget and tracking the spending is not an easy thing to get underway. But once you do it, it is a very freeing experience. And think of that like the dashboard on your automobile. It tells you where you're going, it helps you stay in your lane, and it tells you when you're about to run out.
So I need like something in my mind saying beep, 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 beep,
That's
beep.
right.
Come back
And
in
the
your
steering
lane,
wheel pulls you
okay?
back in.
Okay, don't get stopped by the cops.
Right.
Hashtag my husband. Just
Uh-oh,
kidding.
don't want to go there.
I'm just kidding. Well, thank you so much. Such an important conversation today. Of course, we want to make sure all of our viewers are out there are being smart and safe.
That's it.
Yes. Okay, Rick Thurman, thank you so
All right.
much for joining
Glad
us.
to be here.